Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including, is Roku about to be the big winner of a potential trade war that Trump is building with tariffs? We'll see what's happening there, but we'll tell you why Roku maybe positioned themselves well to deal with that. Sling TV may owe you some money. Now, probably not the $1,000 that you could possibly get, but we'll tell you what is happening here and how you may qualify for that. And Cord Cutting 2.0 hitting Comcast and Spectrum hard. There's a new survey out that says cable internet providers are seeing their subscriber base shrink, maybe faster than we thought with cord cutters. These stories and a whole lot more coming up in a quick second. First though, if you want to learn more about any of these stories, check out the show notes down below and in the first pinned comment. I'll put a link to each story I talk about there so you can read them for yourself and come up with your own opinion. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. So YouTube recommends our videos to more people, helping us grow, hopefully helping you break free from the high cost of TV and still watch what you enjoy. With that said, let's dive in. Now, tariffs are a big thing. We're not going to cover all of them, but there was a lot of questions about what this means for streaming players, and there's one company in particular that could be well placed to deal with this, and that's Roku. Roku has recently been moving their manufacturing out of China, in this case to Vietnam. Now, Vietnam is working very hard to try to strike a zero tariff deal with the United States now. That could potentially set up Roku to be in a very good position when many of their competitors are going to have to pay 34% tariffs on the products coming in. Roku may not. Now, this deal is far from done. A lot of early optimism, we'll call it, that Roku will be, or Vietnam will strike this deal helping Roku. But also, there's been some pushback about potential issues with China maybe using Vietnam as a way to try to sidestep tariffs. But keep a close eye on this. A lot of people are asking, what does this mean? 34% tariff on these products could mean a slight price hike. But with streaming players often selling in the $20 to $30 range, you're only going to look at a few dollars there. We'll keep a close eye on this, but of all the companies right now, Roku is one of the few that has been moving away from China in recent years to manufacture their content in other places, including Vietnam. We're going to watch this very closely, but if this all plays out like some people hope, that we will see Vietnam strike a deal with the United States and have zero tariffs, Roku could be the big winner for this deal. Next up, Sling TV. If you're a Sling TV customer, or you were recently, you may be due some money. Now, it's advertised up to $2,500. Let's be honest, you never seem to get those big advertised dollars that they claim when you sign up for these ones. But apparently, there was a lawsuit related to the fact that Sling TV may have shared viewing history with Facebook that allowed Facebook to target ads to you based on what you watched through Sling TV. And there was a settlement for this, and you had to have used Sling TV since January 1st, 2023. Apparently that's about the time this started and forward. In order to be considered for this, you have to fill out a form with it. Pretty standard stuff with this. Details are still very thin, like when you actually get paid, how much you will actually get. It's unfortunately just your guess is as good as mine. These kind of lawsuits are not new. I think Tubi had an arbitration deal recently about its advertising practices and others out there. A lot of people get very caught up on this, but for now, I think the big selling point here is that if you were a Sling TV customer from January 1st, 2023 to now, you may be eligible to get some money back. I just wouldn't expect the $2,500 to become a reality. Link in the show notes if you want to learn more on that, if you maybe possibly sign up for it. Next up, Comcast and Spectrum have seen their subscriber numbers drop when it comes not just for television, but for internet. I've been doing this for 11 years. This month marks 11 years since I launched Cord Cutters News. And ever since then, people have just said, well, cable companies will just get their money through internet. You can cancel television, but you have to get your internet from them. That's just not the case anymore. We're increasingly seeing people get internet from things like 5G home internet, fiber, satellite, and other options on the market. And because of that, we've seen the market share with cord cutters for cable internet companies like Comcast and Spectrum and others drop. According to a new study, or survey I should say, of over 1,900 of you Cord Cutters News readers and viewers, now less than 50% of you get cable internet from cable, just 42.7%. That's a big drop. In 2023, you were at 51.1% were using cable television. Big jump here in fiber internet customers, which, like we've talked about a lot, increasing number of providers offering fiber internet. I actually got 2 options in my neighborhood now for internet where I live. The other part here is 5G home internet has grown. A lot of people have switched to 5G home internet from things like T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T and other companies. This seems to have been the 2 biggest growers on it. We also saw satellite-based internet from things like Starlink have a little uptick on it. But that's still a minority, largely in the more rural areas. It was interesting to see a number of you are still on DSL. This comes as AT&T and other places are looking to shut down their DSL and move people to either 5G home internet or fiber. So, have you moved completely away from cable TV companies? We call this cord cutting 2.0. In 1.0, you canceled TV. In 2.0, you canceled their internet and completely moved away from it. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Have you tried to join this cord cutting 2.0 movement to save some money? Leave me a comment. Let me know. I'll love to hear from you and what your experience with that has been. I think this is big. I think it could have a domino effect. I think we're already seeing that as Comcast and others have rolled out cheaper internet plans starting at as little as $30 a month to try to meet those people who don't really need a crazy fast internet speed, who just want cheap internet. We'll see how it plays out. All right, next up, 98 years ago, something important happened in the world of television, and that was a long-distance TV broadcast that came in partnership with AT&T. Now, Herbert Hoover Historic Transmission. Now, this was a first time from D.C. to New York City. The U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Herbert Hoover at the time, was beamed his little speech or conversation from Washington, D.C. to New York City using AT&T's network to transmit the image. In a day and age where we're used to turning on the TV and seeing satellite feeds from all over the world, which who knows, they may not even be satellite now, they're probably streamed online mostly now versus satellite time. At the time, this was huge. Sending a live image over 200 miles of wire from Washington studio to an audience and reporters gathered in New York was a groundbreaking, fascinating thing that AT&T helped pioneer with this. It would be one of those things that today we've kind of lost history, but at the time was huge. If you're like me, you probably remember growing up in the 80s and 90s and where college football, for example, was very often not on television. You'd get 1 or 2 games, a couple big games, and your team may or may not be included. Now it's rare when it's not, and we get upset if it's not included in a package we have. Television in the last almost 100 years now has dramatically changed. The ability to get content from around the world has. And 98 years ago, that became a big part of it. Let me know. How often do you watch things from all over the world live? All right, recently T-Mobile had kind of a rough deal. They had a Wingstop deal for $0.01. You could get some chicken tenders. Well, they're trying chicken tenders again for its T-Mobile Tuesday this week. T-Mobile's Tuesday promotion this week will include the ability to get a free cheeseburger or free chicken tenders from Cracker Barrel this time. The catch is you need to spend at least $10 on your meal, so you're going to have to get some other stuff with this. Now, a lot of people blame T-Mobile for this deal going bad with Wingstop and customers getting the coupons canceled earlier in stores with long lines. I think you have to hold Wingstop to that a lot too. They struck the deal. They knew this was coming. They agreed to the terms of it and offered it. So it'll be interesting to see if Cracker Barrel is more prepared after seeing what happened at Wingstop. We'll keep an eye on it. But if you're a T-Mobile home internet customer like their 5G, you also qualify for this. Of course, if you're on most wireless plans, you also qualify also. So check that out. Link in the show notes. Also, if you use DirecTV's My DirecTV, the free streaming version, My Free DirecTV, excuse me, they're getting some more news streaming for free with this Spectrum News, or excuse me, I apologize, Scripps News. Dyslexic moment, misread that. Scripps News is now streaming for free on My Free DirecTV. Now, it is a free, you just need service, you just need the DirecTV app. One caveat, you need an account in order to access it. If you have an old DirecTV account, that will work. Otherwise, you'll need to get a new account here. They are free. You don't need to give them a credit card to access this. But check it out. Anybody a Scripps News fan? I've watched a little bit of it, but not a lot. Let me know if it's any good. That's it for today. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Make sure to check out cordcarsnews.com. What I talk about here is a fraction of what we cover over there. So make sure to check that out. Until next time, take care. Be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.